This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
My man, you doing good?
Doing good, just got back from Orlando yesterday, watching Florida State dismantle LSU. Watched that Duke game last night, so I feel like I'm up to date on what's going on in the ACC, and of course Miami with their win. What's that with Clemson?
What the fuck was that yesterday?
Well, you know what's funny? Oh, I actually
Bro,
predicted
how
a
in the
Duke upset.
second half
I don't know if you knew that.
Wait a minute. How in the second half do you have a missed field goal, fumble, downs, interception, and downs? You did not score or punt in the second half, bro. Like,
Yeah, it was.
you'll never do that again. Ever
Yeah.
again, Dabo Sweeney. Even if you tried, you'll never do that again, bro. Like, that's
Yeah, I mean, that's some really bad luck for Clemson, man. Like, just to get in that situation, two fumbles inside the 10-yard line, and like you said, it obviously should have been a victory for Clemson, but I called a Duke upset. I did predict that last week because I knew, look, this is the first game, new coordinator, quarterback who's talented as hell, but second career start. It was sort of a recipe, and that Duke team is very opportunistic, man. They were one of the best teams last year in terms of plus minus and turnover. So, like, they're at home, first game is sort of a perfect setting for something like that.
And they ran well. They ran really well.
Yeah,
Their running backs tore it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was really, really important for them. But my God, dude, it was such an odd game to watch. I'm sitting there going, what the hell is this, dude? Like, wow, odd. All right. We talked about this, that to me, I didn't care about the opponent. And I wasn't worried so much about the kids. I wanted to see the kids perform under the coaches.
Right.
And dude, I was really proud and happy for Mario because you and I kind of were, we got to like walk Hurricanes fans off the ledge and try to say, hey, bro,
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You've been tortured for 20 years, but have patience. This guy will turn it around. And finally, you saw, okay, here's the hard work paying off, the coaching and everything. I saw a responsible football team on the field on Saturday, and I thought that was really cool, that I saw a football team that could play the game and not commit a whole bunch of stupid mistakes and penalties and crap like that.
Yeah, it was encouraging, and really for me, I thought the defense was the story. The fact that they bounced back from looking as terrible as they did a year ago, and really took to the coaching. You didn't see very missed tackles. You didn't see very many sort of blown assignments at all. And I knew the offense would be better, and they figured it out in the second half. They got into the end zone after kicking 3 field goals in the first half, but defensively is where I was most impressed because, yes, they went back to a scheme very similar to what they did under Manny Diaz, but at the same time, too, it was much cleaner than it was under Manny Diaz because there were a lot of missed tackles in Manny Diaz's final season, a lot of aggression, a lot of blown assignments in that, and they didn't show any of that against Miami of Ohio. Now, obviously, it'll be different this week against the aliens that are coming to town, but it's still very, very encouraging, a very good step forward because it was a clean game.
Yeah, and even the penalties.
Yeah.
It was really only the unsportsmanlike. If you take that out, really, outside of that, it was pretty much a clean game. That was the one thing. And there was an ugly interception by Tyler Van Dyke. But overall, I was really impressed. The offensive line played pretty well. They got some push. Again, the real opponent's coming this week. But I was just overall, man, guys were flying around. They played hard. They ran the ball well. Just it was good, man. It was a really, really good game because the thing is, we've watched them struggle against teams like this. We've watched them even lose against teams like this. And just to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, dominate them. That's what I want to see. And that's what you did. You dominated them. There was never any doubt at any point in that game from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, no, they were in control, and offensive line played really well. I think that's obvious. That's what everybody was talking about coming into the season, that they were going to look a lot bigger, a lot stronger. And at times they pushed Miami of Ohio around. I wouldn't say it was complete domination, but I would say for the most part they were in control of that game offensively. Miami of Ohio was basically playing pass defense the whole game. They didn't want to get beat deep, so Miami just kept running the ball, and they ran for 250 yards. And you saw a real running back by committee. I think it was 9, 9, 9, and 8 carries for the 4 backs. So it was very much split. Everybody had their role, and I like that more, to be honest with you. Especially at the college level, because to me, if you got 4 guys that can sort of protect each other's bodies, so one guy's not going out there getting 20, 25 carries and is all beat up, then you can stay healthy and you can keep this thing rolling week to week to week. So and I don't know that there's any clear separation right now. I think Mark Fletcher will be the guy by the year.
Yeah, Fletcher looked good, bro.
But right now, I would say right now they all look like they can help you, right? Like nobody's hurting you by any means. So to me, Fletcher, I think, will eventually emerge as the dude, right? When you play against really good teams, like this Saturday could be the day where he gets more carries. But I think for the most weeks, you could keep this sort of pace when you're not playing really amazing football teams. When you're playing average teams, you can spread the wealth around.
No, you should keep everybody fresh, anyways, man. You should.
Yeah.
It's when you get into a big game like this Saturday, and it doesn't matter. It could be Cheney, could be Parrish, could be Fletcher, could be Allen. Doesn't matter. Whoever
Right.
gets hot against a really good team, maybe that's where you milk it a little bit more, because running back sometimes is a rhythm type of position too. And
Mm-hmm.
so once a guy gets a rhythm, but I got to tell you, it looked like everybody was in rhythm. That's the good
Yeah.
thing, you know. Line was blocking well, and everybody was finding their holes, and it was good. And let me tell you, the Kobe Young, to watch him grab that
Yeah.
pass and streak downfield and make a big play, I thought that was actually cool too, to see him kind of step up too in the process.
Yeah, I think it's obvious, this isn't a team. Again, Miami of Ohio was playing coverage. They were not going to let Miami beat them deep. So you didn't see. I think Tyler attempted 2 passes of 20 yards or more in the air. One of them was picked. The other one was a great throw to Xavier Restrepo. So
Oh, the
to
one over
me,
the shoulder down the sidelines. Yeah, that was a
yeah,
beautiful.
that was a dime. That was a dime right where it needed to be. I mean, Restrepo didn't even really create much separation, but the
No, no,
ball
no,
literally right in the
right
breadbasket. Yeah,
there.
right there. So they're going to need more of that, obviously, against Texas A&M, and this is where we'll see, how Tyler's right index finger, which was covered in tape, really looks like, right, when he's got aliens after him, chasing him in the pocket and trying to sack him. We will see how comfortable he feels, but very encourage first
Oh,
step
by
for
the
the
way,
receivers.
they also probably stayed a little vanilla on the deep
Oh
balls.
yeah. I'm
Because
sure.
why show anything? You're killing them anyways underneath and running. There was no real reason to take too many shots downfield. You were controlling that whole game, and then why even do that? You know,
Right. Why
why
show
even
anything?
yeah, why show anything to Texas A&M? So I would
Right.
imagine that they probably could have taken a few more shots, but there was no reason to, really.
Right.
None.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Texas A&M plays them this week, because I still feel like Colby Young is probably the one guy right now at the beginning of the season that you can count on to stretch defenses and make, sort of the big plays down the field. A&M's got a couple of those type guys that are dangerous, and so it'll be a challenge this week for Miami secondary. But from Miami's perspective, I'm very interested to see who Tyler throws the ball to this week, and does he sort of zero in on one?
Jacoby George played well too, by the way.
He did. He did. He did his job. I mean, I think he's the number 3 receiver right now, right behind the other 2 guys, Restrepo and Colby. I think those are the first 2 options. But listen, as long as he holds onto the football, that's what you want. You don't want to see drops. You didn't see that in this game, really. I think Jacoby at times can pick up first downs for you. He can be that guy who gets the one-on-one coverage, I think, most of the game. I think you're going to see Colby get a lot of protection over the top this week from Texas A&M. They don't want to let him beat them. So it's going to come down to Jacoby and Xavier, making plays.
2 things. One, you predicted. Emory Williams was the guy that came
Yep.
off the bench, which you said that he would be the number 2. And then the other thing that I didn't see coming, and it is a little dangerous, but I like it because if you did it, it's because you must have confidence in the young man and where he's at. They stayed aggressive. They brought him in and they stayed passing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
you figure, okay, you bring the backup in, the game's over. You're rushing like crazy. All right, kid, you're going in there, just hand off all the time. Bullshit, dude. I think he was like 3 of 3 or something like that. Like
Yeah.
they kept him aggressive passing the ball. I was impressed with that.
Yeah, he's
I like
capable of
that.
it. He's capable of it. I told you in the spring that at times he looked like a guy who could read the defense better than anybody else, including Tyler. Just being able to see the field, know where to go with it. And so to me, Emery, he's got skills. There's a reason he went to the Elite 11, and even though he was only ranked a 3-star or whatever coming out of high school, like there are a lot of people who saw gifts in this guy. So I think will this happen going forward? Will he always be the backup? I don't know. I think it was interesting to hear some of the comments from Shannon Dawson this week talking about, hey, I got 4 games to play each of those guys, right? Which to me tells me they're gonna try to preserve redshirt if possible. I don't know that you play Emery this week. I don't know that you're beating Texas A&M 38-3 to get him on the field, but I could see a situation this week where Jakari Brown comes in and runs some wildcat or does some stuff with his legs because you want to throw a different wrinkle. So, but the bottom line is Emery looked good, and I think going forward he is the better fit for the offense because of the way he's built.
The defensive coordinator,
Yes.
definitely. I like what I saw from him. 4th down, you get that big hit by Couch on Miles Marshall to
Mm-hmm.
stop Miami of Ohio. But if you looked at what happened in the downs before that, he had a 2nd down blitz. And then on 3rd down, he dropped back and created a zone instead and didn't rush as many guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way Guidry was mixing things up,
Yeah.
and he kind of kept them off balance. And so that was and 2 things there also. 1, credit to Guidry, and 2, credit to the coaching staff that his players were smart enough, prepared enough to do all the things he needed to do.
Yeah, 100%. Again, that was my biggest takeaway from game 1 was how good they looked on defense because again, just so out of sync in so many different ways, and the fact that he's throwing different wrinkles at offenses, dropping the Nigel Lee Kellys, into
Yes,
coverage, doing
yes.
that with he did it with Jafari Harvey as well. Just constant. I mean, this is why he's at Miami. This is why Mario Cristobal went out and got him because he's great on 3rd down, and Miami of Ohio was I think 2 of 12 on 3rd down in this game, and I think 0 for 3 on 4th down or whatever it was. So the guy knows what he's doing. He knows what to call, and he's got talent to work with. There's some good players on this defense. And he's doing a better job than the previous guy so far.
Let's see. Oh, can you ask Manny if Jamil Burrows, the new DT, will play this season?
I think the only way that's going to happen is if he gets a waiver, because he transferred after the transfer window. You had to be able to be able to get in before then. Now he's enrolled in classes. I think he can go through practices, but without a transfer waiver, there's no way that he can play this year. And I think he left under some questionable circumstances at Alabama. I think there was some sort of off the field incident, and so I don't know that the NCAA is listen. They're holding Tez Walker out. They're holding Daryl Jackson out. Other guys in this conference, and I can't imagine they'll make the exception for him. I think initially my understanding was he would, and then I found out later that it was after the transfer window, so that he arrived. So that's why he probably won't play this year.
Okay, all right. Let's get to Texas A&M. What are you expecting from Texas A&M? How do you expect them to test Miami?
I think first of all, this team can throw the ball much better, obviously, than Miami of Ohio can. And that was the Achilles heel really of Miami's defense last year, the big play. 15 plays of 40 yards or more in the air against the Hurricanes last year. That was with DJ Ivey and Tyreek Stevenson, your starting corners, 2 guys that are on NFL rosters now. So I think you have to look at this offense. Connor Wegman is a 5-star quarterback. I've said that, he's much better than the quarterback Miami faced last year in the game over in College Station, and they're explosive, 52 points. So Bobby Petrino looks like a guy who has come in and immediately made an impact. Granted, it was against New Mexico, and they're facing a better team this week as well. But this is going to be a huge test as far as one-on-one coverage. We're going to see how good Daryl Porter really is. We're going to see how good Jaden Davis really is. Two guys that I thought played really well in the opener. But this is a different animal. And, the offensive line that they've got, they started a really young offensive line last year against Miami. These guys are all a year older than they were, and they've got a lot of returning experience. So, to me, the test this week is, can Miami limit Texas A&M's big plays, or are we going to see them revert to what we saw last year, which is giving up some big plays down the field?
Did Miami come out of that game pretty clean with injuries?
Yeah, the only guy I was worried about was Colby Young, because he looked like he got hit trying to block on a wide receiver screen in the first half, but he was able to come back in the third quarter. He was on a stationary bike in the second quarter. He came back in the third, caught a ball. Mario said yesterday that he's fine, that he's going to be good to go in this game. But that's obviously, anytime you get hit in the knee, or you always worry about that going into the next week, right? Like, how fast is he going to be as explosive as he was before? I didn't see anybody on defense get dinged up. They got a lot of guys into the game that were sort of rotated in and out. So I think from a health perspective, they got out of game one pretty much unscathed.
Can Mario Cristobal have his Deion Sanders moment versus Texas A&M?
I hope so. It'd be nice to write about a big Miami victory, right? I think certainly last week was encouraging, but this, like you said, this is the real test. I think so. I don't think this Texas A&M team is unbeatable. I certainly would pick Texas A&M to win this game, because on paper, I think they are more talented than Miami. They're a little bit more proven in certain areas. I think their defensive line is ridiculously talented, and their defensive front is going to be a challenge for this offensive line. Francis Mauigoa is going to have his hands full dealing with some of their pass rushers. And this is going to be his second game starting as a true freshman. So I think Miami can win. I'm not sure they're ready yet. I've got to see more. I got to see, if I see the defense that showed up in the opener, yes, the answer is yes. If they're covering as well as they did, then to me, they can win this game. I just don't think it's going to happen, because I think A&M, like I said, has some aliens, dude. They've got some big time guys. This Noah Thomas kid, huge receiver, he's like 6'5", 6'6". Miami doesn't have any big corners, that can kind of run with this guy. So I think he's going to be sort of the X factor in this game.
Williams will be over the top, I guess.
Williams will be over the top, but what's that?
He's big enough.
He is, but is he fast enough? And can you count on him in cover? Cam is your best cover safety. Yeah. James Williams is quite honestly the guy who you want closer to the box, covering tight ends, covering the middle of that field. This guy's going to be out on the outside. You want Cam to kind of go up and challenge him on the outside. Obviously, if James was better in coverage, I'd have more confidence. I just haven't seen it from James.
Cam knocked the shit out of somebody in that game last week.
He did. He had two big hits in that game, and Mauigoa had a big hit on defense, Kiko. So we'll see. I think, like I said, I this is probably a game decided by a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Cam Kitchens he's one of those dudes that you wish he played with those old UM teams, because man,
very Ed Reed like.
Yeah, dude, he just looks like one of those great safeties that they've had in the past. Yeah, and they've had a bunch of really good safeties on this team, and just impact secondary guys. And Cam just looks like one of those guys that is just freaking nasty, bro. God, he is nasty. What's the most important thing on offense for the Canes this week against Texas A&M?
Run the football the way they did against Miami of Ohio. Have some chunk plays. It's not going to be easy to go 16 plays, 75 yards. So have some big runs that lessen the pressure on Tyler Van Dyke and force them to leave some receivers in one-on-one coverage. If they're able to just line up and man-to-man you all night, and you can't do anything off of play action, then it's going to be a tough night for the offense. So run the ball, force them to bring a safety into the box, allow those receivers to get the kind of coverage assignments they want.
Let's hope so, man. The only thing is that you and I know that if the Canes win this game, our fan base is going to be insoportable because they're going to immediately say we're winning the national title. I just want you to know that.
I don't know. I mean, if they watched the game Sunday night and they saw Florida State, I'm sure they're probably a little bit humbled by what they saw from the Seminoles, right? I mean, they have to be a little bit.
Not our Canes fans. No, those people are maniacs. If they beat Texas A&M, I'm telling you, they're going to go, we're running the table. We're running the table. We don't care.
True.
Alabama, Georgia, playoffs, they ain't got shit on us. Let's go. We're running the table. You know that. I know that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping they win, but then I got to talk the Canes fans off the ledge. Like, yo, relax. They won, but let's not go from game 2 to a title already. You know, that's what's going to end up happening. All right, what do you got going on in the Athletics so they can check you out?
Yeah, plenty to read, of course, as always. I think we still have our $1 for 12-month special going for the opening couple weekends of the season. So if you want to sign up, make sure you do. I'll have another podcast coming up previewing the game. I'll have some notebooks and information off the ACC. Grace Rayner and I will do our new power rankings for the conference. So a lot to read on the website, man. A lot of stories. It's all I can do is tease all the great writers in the team that we have over there.
By the way, somebody's asking question for Navarro, what Colorado and Texas did with players overhaul. Can that be the new way moving forward or schools to succeed faster? And what's the good and bad from it? By the way, Mario brought in 40 different people. That's kind of the way of the world. It's not, but go ahead and knock yourself out. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, Miami brought in 41 new guys from the end of last year, but both of those schools, Colorado and Texas State, they did it at a higher clip in terms of transfers than other teams have in terms of flipping it in 1 year. Florida State is a great example of what you can do if you know how to work the transfer portal. They did it progressively. They did it with a mix of recruiting as well. They've got some of their own homegrown guys, so to speak. So I think ultimately you can do it at places like Colorado and Texas State and get back to win. I think it's a lot easier. This is what I tell fans all the time. It's a lot easier to go from 5-7 to 10-2 or 4-8 to 10-2 or 9-3 than it is to go from 9-3 or 10-2 to 12-0. Because that 12-0, those 2 or 3 wins means you beat really good teams. So I think what Dion is doing, I think what we're seeing at Texas State can be replicated if you do a really good job plucking talent. Is it the way to go? I still think you want to be Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson and these other schools that just recruit the crap out of high schools and get the best players.
Right.
Because if you do that, they're in your system for 2 or 3 years. You don't have to worry about that, hey, is this guy going to adapt to our culture stuff? So I think ultimately that's going to be the championship way. This will be the quick turnaround way. And Florida State, like I said, in 4 years, he's done it progressively, which is why I think they have a chance at the national championship this year.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Anytime, brother. Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir. Caneswear, baby. Make sure you go visit my friends at Caneswear in Davie or go online at caneswear.com. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping. Go to 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They've got anything and everything practically with the Canes logo on it. Use our code BIGO10 so you can get 10% off. BIGO10 to get 10% off there at caneswear.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the